Just doing a live pour of the most recent beer to be sent to the store. What I mean by the store is it's an area that's cooler than the rest of the house. So I let it carbonate in the kitchen where it's been fermented, and then we move it to what I call the store. It's just a utility room. It's got no heating in there, so it gets quite nice and cool, stays rather cool. And that's where I store my beer for probably 3 weeks after bottling. That's normally around the time that I do it. But this is my raspberry. This is my raspberry and blueberry sour. First time I've done a fruited sour, so it'll be interesting to see how it tastes. When I tasted it before bottling, it tasted really good. It's had a couple of days at room temperature, so it should be carbonated, and that is pretty much what the test is for. So yeah, we've got gas. Let's get it poured. Oh yes. Well, I can definitely smell the fruit. That is quite active, actually. I'm surprised how active that is. Try and get it to the camera so you guys can see it. Raspberry and blueberry, dude. Hello Ray, how you doing, man? Actually, I'm glad you're here because, you know, I was talking about that botanical beer. I actually went, oh shit, dropping everything. I've bookmarked it in here because I know that I said that I'd find it out for you. Botanical Farmhouse Ale is what it was. And it's got heather, dandelion, chamomile and lavender in. And it's just, you just put them in at flame out, if you know what that is. It's when you finish doing all the heat, you just drop it in there and you let it steep there for 10 minutes. And all the random flavours of those are going to come out into the beer. So I'm going to give that a go, I reckon. See, this isn't my recipe, so I'm not happy to share it. But I'm going to try and do my own version of it, which then I can then share, because obviously I don't want to be sharing other people's recipes that they've worked hard to put a book together. And I just find it interesting as well, that all the different books, I mean, most of the general gist of a homebrew book is pretty much the same. They tell you the stages and what to do and stuff like that. So let's give this a taste. It's nice, it's fruity, definitely carbonated, but it doesn't seem to have as much sourness as I'd like. Now, I don't know how to get more sourness in other than adding more yeast, because it's the yeast that actually produces the lactic acid, the Philly sour yeast. But I mean, it does taste okay. It's got plenty of carbonation. But why has the sour differed from when I bottled it? Because when I did bottle it, it had more of a sour flavour. And that must have been only, what, maybe 5 days ago, 4 days ago. I mean, I'm knocking it down because it's not sour, but it is nice. I'd definitely brew it again. But I have learnt, the last brew that I did a American IPA using American hops. So it had, let me see if I can remember, Magnum, Columbus and Citra. And they're all great hops, you know. So I did an American style IPA with them, and the recipe that I was kind of following, or the method I was following, was to try and be able to, what about adding malic acid? Yeah, I think that's a bit extreme though, isn't it? I'd probably end up like this. The rest of me sodding teeth will fall out, dude. But yeah, that is an option. You just have to figure out a way of getting the dosage right so that you don't overdo it. Do you understand? Because, I mean, some sours, there's a brewery in the UK called Thornbridge. They're pretty decent, or at least they used to be when I was first getting into craft. Now they're a little bit more your supermarket kind of craft beer. I mean, they still make good beers, but they made one called Tart, and it was the sourest thing I've ever tasted in all my life. And you can't buy it anymore. Pardon me. You just can't buy it. But yeah, I'll look into that. Have you ever done a sour, Ray? I mean, the more I drink it, the more I do kind of notice it, ever so slightly. But it's more of a tickle than it is a full-blown sour flavour, which is a shame, really, because the fruitiness is nice. I wouldn't say you could taste the blueberries, but you kind of know they're there, sort of, because they've got quite a bland flavour, I think. They're not all that intense, are they? So yeah. Hello, Aesthetic Vibes. How you doing? I mean, it's nice and clear. It's cleared out pretty decent, because what I've started doing is putting in a cold crash just for 24 hours, just to get everything to settle out a little bit more, and it does actually make the beer quite a considerable amount clearer, leaving a lot less sediment in the bottom as well. I haven't uploaded it yet, but for anyone who watches this, you get an insight. Okay, so I did a little bit of an experiment with the meads that I was brewing. I brewed one with organic honey, and I brewed one with just the standard normal honey that I'd use, both by the same company. Sorry, I got an itchy nose. Both by the same company, same yeast. Ever used sparkle oil or bentonite clay? No. Don't believe I have, dude. I don't know what they are. So I did an experiment with these meads. One organic, one not. Same yeast, same amount of water volume and everything like that, and it just went absolutely apeshit. I'm editing the video over the next couple of days. They are clearing agents for brews. No, I do use... Oh, you know what? What's it called? A Proctor Flock. I use that. But I always forget to add it. It's one of those things that I never write down on the recipe, so then it's not in my head. That might be the bentonite one you're on about, Proctor Flock tablets. Pardon me. But yeah, so, and this mead, the organic one absolutely went everywhere. It was foaming over, it was coming out of the airlock. So I left it, it sort of went down, pardon me, and within an hour or two of going down, it had come back again, and it was overflowing. Now the one that didn't have organic honey in, the normal honey mead, it literally fermented. It's fermenting happily as Larry. It did have a bit of, like, it looked like it was going to take off, but it didn't. But the other one's like oozing out the top of the bloody airlock. So yeah, I wasn't too impressed with that. But I have now since put a blow-off tube onto it just to try and keep the area clean. I'm sick of having to wipe it all up and stuff. But again, it's, you know, you live and learn. I can't understand why organic honey would be more volatile with the same yeast, same water, you know, all that kind of jazz. It was exactly the same. So it was really bizarre why it did that. And I'm gonna have to use some of the honey again, because obviously I've got some left. I bought 4 of them. I've used 2 of them, so I've got 2 left. I'm going to use half of one for the sweetening of the mead when it's finally stopped foaming all over the bloody place. And yeah, we'll kind of just go from there, and we'll see what happens. But the video for that will be uploaded with the picture of it oozing and whatnot. I just can't get my head around why the organic one would just go so mad. But next beer is probably going to be the English IPA that I put together. It'll either be an IPA or a pale. Depends on what the overall gravity and alcohol is. But yeah, anyway, I was saying that I was messing around with the heat on this American IPA. So what I was doing is, I've heard of something called a, oh, what's it bloody called now? Mash out. So you increase the temperature. So 20 minutes into the mash, you increase the temperature from 65 to 67, I think it was. Then you increase it again 20 minutes later to 69. And then you do it again up to 76, which is the temperature you'd normally sparge at. And it has left behind more fermentable sugars, which is what's going to give it its actual flavor. You know, it's going to, because a lot of them seem to be quite thin in flavor. Obviously, they've got loads of booze in. They do taste like beer, but they kind of lack that characteristic of the said style of beer. So I googled it. How can I get more fermentable sugars, which is what's going to give you the flavor of the beer? And someone mentioned to do these steps, and I did it, and it has actually worked, because mine were fermenting down to sometimes as low as 1.006, which then you've hardly got any flavor left, because all of your sugars, which is what holds the maltiness, had disappeared. So I was like, right, okay, we're gonna have to do something about that. So I did. It does kind of add a little bit more time to it, because obviously you got to wait for it to heat up and then so on and so forth. But I think if it's going to definitely give me more of what I want from the beer, I think it's definitely worth it. What are all these bloody buttons here anyway? I don't know what half of these do, dude. Green screen. No, I don't want a green screen. No, we won't press that. Go away. What the fuck have I done, dude? Go away. No, I don't want a green screen. What's a video button do? Oh, well, that cuts the video off. Ever brew a braggot? Yes, I have. With mixed results. I've tried it twice. I did it with blending to a beer and a mead together, and it was okay, but it sort of tasted a little bit like a shandy. I don't know if you get shandy in the US. I'm sure you said you was from the US, dude. But it tasted like a shandy. So then I brewed one with a liquid malt extract, and did it that way. But it still tasted a bit crap. So what I need to do is I need to do an all grain version of it. Do you a favor. Yeah, go on then. What is this favor? Said favor you would like me to do? Ray, are you there, Ray? Oh. But yeah, I have. So I do need to do another go at a braggot, which obviously I just get some all grain, mash it, add the honey, and do it all that way. Now I was thinking about doing like a honey stout. I reckon that could be quite nice. Honey stout. I did do a smoked porter recently as well. That's quite nice. The Citra IPA that I didn't really like it all that much. Trying to get my sub count up so I can do live streams. Okay, dude. You haven't got Instagram, have you? You can't send me a link. I'm not sure how I can access it. What you'll have to do is you'll have to leave a comment on one of my posts, dude, and then I'll be able to click on your name and then it'll direct me to your thing. I'll sub, mate. I'll sub all day. Yeah, nice one. And then I can listen to you chat shit, and you can listen to me chat shit. We can all just chat shit together. I mean, do you know what? Right, I've probably got, I think, 430, or is it 435 subscribers, and I've never once begged anyone to like or subscribe any of my videos, because I hate those. I say I hate those YouTubers. It's a bit of a strong word, hate, but it pisses me off when they're halfway through the video and they're like, if they found this video helpful and they like it, please like and subscribe. It's like, I'm like, I haven't even finished watching the goddamn video yet. How do I know I'm going to like it? Do you know what I mean? They're just so pushy to get followers and shit. I mean, I do this as a hobby. This is literally my hobby. I don't do it for any monetary gain at all. I hand my beers out for free. Obviously, with the mead, it's a little bit more expensive, so I do ask my mates to pay for that. But you need 50 subs to go live. Oh, okay, mate. How many have you got at the moment? I'll definitely sub, dude. Just drop a comment on one of the any of my videos, man. It should notify me. But I do turn some notifications off, because they do my pipping. My phone's like ping, 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 ping. Well, you'll have 30 by the time we finish this, mate. It's like I say, drop a comment on my last video. It doesn't matter whether it's the actual video or the little short that I do to kind of promote the video. It doesn't matter which one you do. I'll definitely come sub, mate. Definitely. What was I saying? Yeah, it was on about the bracket. So I'm in two minds what to do about the banana and strawberry one, because I'm going to be checking on that soon. And I have bought more of the banana and strawberry mix for secondary, but I just think it's going to just be an absolute pain in the backside to clear out, because of the banana goes all mushy, and I don't think there's any way around that apart from using extracts, which is what I really don't want to get into doing. I like to use the fruit, the whole fruit, instead of extracts. But you know, that's how it goes sometimes, I suppose. You gotta pick and choose. But again, here's one for you. I'm not sure if I'd already told you on a other feed. Actually, I've got hold of some lychee, ginger, coconut, peach, and was there something else? Lemongrass. Now, this beer is a sour beer, but I'm going to turn it into a mead, obviously, so not sour. I don't know if it's going to work at all. It may completely go tits up, but I had it in a sour beer, and it was the most complex and amazing mix of flavors I have ever tasted in my life. I just, you know, and it's not one that you can buy from the supermarket either. It's literally, you have to buy it direct from the brewery. Pardon me. A mate of mine we put a little order in because they were doing a fundraising thing for their what's it called, like a crowdfunding thing, so that they can buy a bigger premises, because they've kind of outgrown the one that they're at now. They're called Vault City Brewery. They're up in Scotland. They're absolutely brilliant. The best sours I have ever tasted. And I did actually ask them how they get it so sour, but I never got a reply, so it's a bit of a trade secret, I expect. But I will be looking into that malic acid, dude. Yeah, because isn't that malic acid is the stuff that is on sour sweets, isn't it? Is that right, or am I thinking of something else? Because the yeast produces lactic acid. I'm sure it's lactic acid, the yeast, the Philly sour yeast, man. Or would put in double the amount of yeast in there make a difference? I suppose I've just got to piss about with it, haven't I? And then, I mean, like I say, it's perfectly drinkable. It's nice. It was about 5.7%. You're right. It's in the sour gummies and stuff. Yeah. So I might even do like a Warhead sour. Do you get those sweets over there, wherever you guys are at? Because those them Warhead sweets are like absolutely like, but you could melt them down in the work, couldn't you? Yeah, if you was local, dude, I would send you a bottle. But then again, I don't actually post the beers because they're really funny about compressed things, and with it being homebrew, it's a little bit more volatile. Yes, mate, we do. We have Warheads, Toxic Waste. Get the Haribo Tang Fastics. They're pretty nice. That would be a really nice sour to do, actually. But then you got like loads of gelatin floating around and stuff. It could go tits up, couldn't it? It could go quite wrong. But yeah, I think adding something like that helps. I think the raspberries in this really helped. And I think that's contributes a lot of the flavour is the raspberry. But again, all the sugars would have been fermented out. So in theory, you could very well be losing some of the flavour in that. But yeah, anybody got any questions? There seems to be 2 of you in. Any homebrew related questions? You may want to add in secondary so it doesn't interfere with the fermentation and may harm your yeast. What's that? The sweets? Yeah, you see, I would put them in because it's going to be a Philly sour anyway. I'll be using a sour-based yeast. I'm sure you guys can get it over there. I think it's Lalamund or something like that. Lalamund. The malic acid. Yeah. That's probably a good idea. I'll have to research the effects of malic acid in a beer as well, just to see if it's got any potential to knacker it up, because I need the yeast in there at the end because of the way that I carbonate. No, not Lalvin, mate. I'm using that Lalvin at the moment. It's Lalmond, Lallmond, something like that. I'll find out what it's called, dude. If you type into Google when you're off here, Philly sour, it's an American style of yeast, actually, as you can tell by the Philadelphia reference. Yeah, Lallamond or something like that. I'm wondering whether pitch more yeast, therefore it will create more. But as far as it goes, yeah, it wasn't a bad first try, I don't think. I'd brew it again. I'd probably use a hell of a lot more fruit, though. It had double the amount of blueberries that it had the raspberries. And then again, the Philly sour. It's got some Pilsner. Oh, I've got the thing here. This is me writing down. Look, that's scribbled all over the place. Best ale malt, Munich malt, Red X malt. It says a kilogram of each fruit, but I think I changed that. I don't think I had a full kilogram of each lot of fruit. I think I had 700 grams of raspberries. No, 350 grams of raspberries. And then 700 grams of the blueberries. And it had Saz hops in. Now, the whole thing that I put together myself cost me £20 and 15 pence. I'm not sure what that is in US money. I think the US is pretty much the same as our money now, isn't it? We always used to get more for our money if we went over to America to buy things. But now I think we're pretty much in line because the whole world's screwed, to put it bluntly. And each bottle cost me £1 and 6 pence. So you could probably say $1. And it's all right. You know, I've got 20, well, I've had 20 bottles of it. Now I've got 19. I do give a couple out, though, because I appreciate feedback more than what it costs to make it. So, you know, I pay £1 to make it. I give it to my mate, and he gives me his feedback, which is priceless. Went to a German-style restaurant brewery, and they had a seasonal grapefruit pilsner. Oh, that sounds good. Yeah, I do like grapefruit. I always forget about grapefruit. Um, it's got its own natural bitterness as well, hasn't it? So you could probably get away with not even putting any hops in if you wanted to skimp on, save yourself a bit of money. That is always an option. Oh, grapefruit. I need to do a grapefruit beer now. I'm going to buy some grapefruit, dude. So have you ever done a Berliner? Like a Weiss beer, or Weiss, however they pronounce it. It's like a sour, fruited wheat beer. Absolutely banging, mate. Brilliant. I did brew one of them. I think I shared it on my channel. I don't know. I think I did. That could be the sour you're looking to achieve. Yeah, because grapefruit's really sharp, isn't it? Yeah. Yes. But I do need to figure out again with the adding of, like you say, the malic acid. I think that's definitely going to be the way forward, to be able to get it to the point where it's like, so that tart that I told you about was the sourest thing I've ever tasted in a beer. It was so sour it made your bloody jaw ache, dude. That's how sour it was. But it was good though. It was nice. Every time you drank it, you're like, they were the days. Like I say, you can't buy it no more. It's discontinued, and they said that they weren't going to produce it anymore, which is fair enough. If it's not something that sells a lot, then it's pointless in doing it, isn't it? But yeah, we've got a couple more beers to brew as well. I'm going to be doing a mild. I don't know if you've ever tried a mild. It's more of a British style of beer. It's what the workers used to drink, like the old factory workers and things like that. And it was really low ABV, probably about 3%, really dark roasted malts and things like that. I've put together what we call, it's a Midlands mild, but I live in the East Midlands, so I'm going to call it East Midlands mild. And it's been done before by a local brewery called Black Iris. Now they're really good. Small beer. So what do you mean by a small beer? Did I say something wrong? So it's a low ABV beer, dark malty kind of beer. So like I say, about 3% it would have been, and it would have been given to service people of service. Because back in like many days ago, they'd be have a pint of mild, but it's not really one that's brewed a great deal anymore. You get some craft breweries that will brew it, and me personally, I like it because a friend of mine, we used to go out drinking with his gran and granddad, and they'd always be drinking mild. And I tried it one day, and I was like, "That's peculiar," but then I got a taste for it, and I was like, "This is actually pretty good." Oh, right, a small beer. Oh, okay. Yeah, I get you now. I understand now, yeah. Yeah. And it was, yeah, because it was safer because the water was boiled. There was definitely going to be no parasites or anything in there that was going to, like, cause them illness. And even the house workers, you know, when they had people had maids and things like that, the maids of these rich families, and you know the workers who'd be working on for the fires and you know cutting logs and all that. Eventually, at the end of the day, they'd get themselves that style of beer, and only the richer people had the ones that were brewed to a higher ABV and stuff like that. Yeah. So we've got 3 people in. So hello to the other 2 people who are in. Don't be shy. Say hello. Or not. I don't care. If you want to just listen to me waffle on, that's fine. But this beer is almost done. So if you want to ask a question, do it now. That is good. The further you get down it, I think the more accustomed you come to the flavour, and you do kind of notice the sourness more. But what I probably should have done is not had this as my first beer. I should have probably had a normal beer first, then opened this. That way I think I'd have noticed it a little bit more. Going straight into a sour beer is might have not been the one. But at the same time, I can't drink a lot of sours. It just gives me terrible heartburn and reflux, and I'll be burping in pain for hours and hours and hours. Same with stouts as well, because how dark and roasted the malts are. Don't know why, it just does something to me. But yeah, so do you brew beer as well then, Ray? I've heard you say you do wines and meads and stuff like that, and you seem to know quite a lot about the styles of different styles of mead with the names of them and that. Have you tried a, what's it called? Aceglin with maple syrup. Now that is a really good mead. Like, I did an oaked one, I think. No, that was a Bochet I did, actually, where you caramelise the honey. Yeah. Yeah. So have you ever done a Bochet? Now, they can be quite tricky. I actually melted my spoon whilst doing a Bochet. I turned away for a couple of minutes, and this plastic spoon's in this molten lava of honey while it's bubbling away. Oh my goodness. It was okay. It did taste alright, but I think I put cranberries in it for some flipping stupid reason, and it just tasted disgusting, mate. But I drank it because I was like, I'm not going to waste it. I've not put loads of money into and time putting it, waiting for it to ferment, then the secondary, then the maturation for a month. I've tried Bochet, but didn't Bochet the honey long enough. Didn't get the bitterness, some people say. Yeah, so I did have a bit of bitterness, yeah. I think there's a fine line as to how much to caramelize it, because it's easy to go from caramelization to just bloody burnt. You know what I mean? It's really simple to do that. So I think it's keeping an eye on it and keep it moving. That's the only thing I can suggest. I did char mine ever so slightly, and it did come out in the flavour. But all in all, it was okay. Did I put the cranberries in that? I can't remember now. Might have. So anyway, this is a meadery from the UK in Nottingham, the home of Robin Hood, I'll have you know. Bow and arrow and all that jazz. So this is Apothecary Meadery, and this is called Black Phillip. It's a Bochet. It's a caramelised honey mead fermented with Moroccan figs and bourbon vanilla bean, aged over charred oak. That is one of the nicest meads I've ever tasted in my life. Unfortunately, it's like £35 a bottle, so I haven't had another one. I haven't tried any more of theirs, but that was absolutely just mind-blowing as to what you could do. And then that made me start thinking, like, well, I could do these kind of flavours, just mash everything together and just have a try. Haven't brewed any beer yet. I really want to, but haven't gotten a chance. Well, there you go, you see. When you get paid or whatever, I definitely recommend it. If you're into the whole brewing thing, I mean, you can even start off easy with the beer kits. You can buy the liquid malt extract. There's a company called Mangrove Jacks who do some pretty good ones. Unless they've bought any new ones out in the last 3 years, I've done them all. I've literally done them all. And it got to the point where I was brewing their beer, but I wasn't satisfied. So I was adding more hops. I was finding out the hops that was in it, buying more hops, and just, doing what we call like a hop tea. You just pour boiling water into a container with your hops, close it up, leave it for 24 hours to steep out, and then you'd add that to your beer. And yeah, it works. You know, they do produce pretty good beers, but they produce more than what I brew now. So they're, I want to say, 40 pint kits. So you need quite a big bucket, and then you're going to need like 40 to 45 bottles uh, to be able to bottle it off. It's if you drink a lot of beer, I do. I drink a lot of beer. I drink more beer than I do mead. Um, Mead's a lot more easy to keep tabs on. Beer can just be a bit of a pain in the backside. I'm not gonna lie. Um, yeah. Now it's kind of the gateway that got me into brewing, because I told you before that I started brewing a beer kit that my mum had given me, and then I eventually took all of her demijohns off her. Demijohns, I think you guys call them carboys, the glass vessels. And I took all them off her because she wasn't using them. And then I brewed my first mead, and I just sat there drinking it, and I was like, wow. I was like, wow. So now then I've started doing that, and then every year I get some apples now, and I'll brew a cider. Um, I've got to put the piment. I've got to bottle the piments. I need to check on the banana and strawberry mead, and that might have some more put in it. The juniper berry and vanilla, that's still going quite happily. There is something in the pipeline that I'm going to do, because see, water chemistry I don't really understand. Some people, when you're brewing beer, you're supposed to use chemicals, which I do, but I've got a very basic understanding of how they work and stuff like that. So I just asked this head brewer of my favourite brewery, Shiny Brewery, how to treat the water. And he just gave me a simple step. He says you use 1 Campden tablet per gallon. Then you use up to 3 grams of, what's it called again? Gypsum powder. If your beer's going to be like a juicy, hoppy kind of beer. And if it's not going to be juicy and hoppy, you just use 1 gram. And that's what I do, you know. And I mean, I produce reasonably good beer. I wouldn't say it's like world class, but it's not shit. It's definitely not shit. I know that because I've got very, very honest friends. Like, you know, they wouldn't bullshit me. But anywho, definitely look into that. So drop me a comment, Ray, and I shall definitely subscribe, dude. And then maybe we could go live together, have a good old chinwag. That'll be cool. I have seen that, go live together. The button as you're setting up your live. But I don't even know what half of these flipping things do. I think that one mutes me. I think I pressed one a minute ago and I shit myself because it did something. Retouch on. What's that? Is it going to make me look beautiful? It's going to need more than a flipping button to do that. Retouch off. I don't even know what it's doing, man. Brewing any cider. Look out, CJ. Not at the moment. I have done. When was it? It was last year. So the end of the apple season. A lady gave me loads of apples, about 9 kilograms, and that 9 kilograms of apples got me a gallon of cider, and it was bloody gorgeous. Really was. I would definitely will be brewing another one. And you can actually cheat as well. I know I've said this before. You can cheat with cider. You can literally buy store-bought apple juice, and you can whack it all in. Add a bit of sugar if you need to. Add some yeast. Yes, I am lucky to be given a fruit press by a friend of mine ages ago. And funny story actually. So I got these apples off my allotment, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to make some bloody cider. I was absolutely buzzing. So I got this thingy off him, and he gave me what's called a mangler as well. You put it in and it just kind of chops it all up and things like that. So I forgot to actually mangle all these bloody apples. So I was trying to press them with them like still pretty much solid. All I've done is chop them into slices. Should have seen me, mate. I nearly flipping like had a hernia or something trying to turn this bar, and I'm like, what am I doing wrong? And all I got out of it, dude, was a glass of apple juice, because I couldn't ferment it because there just wasn't enough. But yes, I do have a press. I'm lucky to have that. I mean, I'm quite lucky to have a lot of the stuff that I've got, because I've got all the demijohns off my mum. I did eventually buy more, but having what you need straight away at the click of a finger is a bit of a blessing. Now those presses, I think you can buy them. They're not all that much. I think you can get them secondhand on eBay. You just keep your eye out. But I will tell you this: pressing your own apples is a pain in the arse. It is so much effort. It's time consuming. I even bought one of those like slicers that you just push down on the apple. It cores it, puts it into slices, and it still took forever. Like, you know, you're talking probably 2 hours of standing up non-stop. It was a lot of effort, but the reward is the cider. Now, okay, I didn't get a great deal out of it. I only got a gallon, which is what, I can't remember how many bottles I actually got out of it. It might have been more than a gallon, actually. It might have been 2 gallon. I really don't remember, but I remember having a fair few bottles of it, because I gave everybody some, because I did some that was carbonated and I did some that wasn't carbonated. And normally when I drink cider, I like flat cider, like the old Scrumpy Jack, you know, Somerset cider, how they talk over down there. And the sparkling one was actually nice. Now, in the UK, we've got loads of really shit cider companies like Strongbow. I'm sure you can probably get Strongbow over there. It might even not even be British, but it's one of those things that's drilled into people's heads, like, this is the cider you want. But there's hardly any flavour in it, you know? There's literally, like, I don't know, I can't explain it. It tastes artificial. It tastes like they've put sweeteners in it instead of the actual apples. Now, again, I like a dry cider. So I like the cider to not have any sugar content left. 100% dry. I like that it gives you that kind of a sourness almost. But hey, thank you for everybody who joined and popped by. I am off skis now to go grab another beer, and it's time for the kids to go to bed. I'm sure they're not going to be very happy about that, but sod them. They don't have a say in the matter. Ray, drop a comment, mate, and I shall momentarily subscribe to your channel, dude. And possibly have a look at some of your videos. I do like the brewing community. I think it's brilliant. You know, we're all a bit quirky, you know, like, because people see us as mad professors, like in our kitchens with like flipping boiling cauldrons and shit like that when we're brewing and stuff. But we're just dudes, you know, and dudettes, you know. There's women who do it. It's absolutely, of course there is. It's a tin type photography channel. I don't know what tin type is, but I shall Google it. Right then, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much if you have come out and joined me today. I'll be back next weekend, probably chatting shit about something else. Until then, take it easy, and I'll see you all soon.